All right. We are back with another episode of Dinner Club Podcast. We're doing things a little bit different. A couple of weeks back, we told you guys we was going to start up doing something different. A lot of people was asking for me and my wife to come on, just talk about relationship stuff like that, life, all of that good stuff. So, I'm your host with the most, Lonelle Walker, a.k.a. the Lion of Many Hunts. And I have my beautiful, lovely wife, Mrs. Walker, in the building. We've been dealing with a lot. It was kind of hard to talk about what topics we were going to pick and all of that good stuff. So we just decided that we're going to just talk about some of the experience and stuff that we've been going through since, from COVID to the protests to everything. And I'm just going to be, asking her some questions. You know what I mean? I like to pick her mind. We haven't really had, to be honest, it's been so busy. We haven't really had time to really converse like that. We've both been just playing our parts in the community and doing what we can. But first off, I want to ask you, are you hot?
I'm always hot. Like from the inside out, it's miserable. And people warned me about being pregnant in the summer, and I didn't believe them. But it's hot all the time. I don't want to be touched. I don't want to touch anything. I just want to sit in the AC with my belly out and eating popsicles all day.
Yeah, earlier today I told her she was glowing. She's like, I'm sweating. I'm like, well, your glow's your glow, baby. Your glow's your glow. One of the things I want to definitely touch on is obviously COVID's been tough. How's that been affecting you? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you feel like it's been affecting the family?
That's a two-part question. Me personally, I know it sounds selfish because there's a lot of people around me that are pregnant as well. And, I think during COVID, you almost feel invisible. I remember being pregnant with Nyla. She's my first child, my first pregnancy. So every single thing was celebrated. Like, you finally got a baby bump. Your hair, you're this, you're glowing, all this and that. And, when you're holding meetings all day behind a computer screen, no one can tell that you're pregnant. And there's so many other things going on. It's just it's not a priority. It is what it is. We have to, the focus is on keeping our families safe and staying sane with all of the things going on, having to be inside. And so it's different. It's different because you almost feel invisible. Like, people always ask, how you doing? How you feeling? I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even thinking about myself right now because there's so many other bigger things to worry about. Like, our village is more important right now than making a baby. That's what women are made to do. So it's almost like on the back burner. But other than that, it's been great.
So let's get to the nitty gritty, man. This is the part where I get picked on for my audience. So what's been the most annoying thing you had to deal with so far since being home with me?
It's so funny because someone asked me the other day, like, what do you love about COVID? Staying away from the negative. We want to know, what do you absolutely love about coronavirus, COVID-19? And I said, I hate to say this, but I didn't know if we was gonna make it. Like, you talk a lot and you're loud.
Yeah.
And Nyla is exactly the same.
Yeah.
So two of you all day, all the time. Like, I was worried for a hot second. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm glad that we're okay.
Nah, for sure. And I think through a lot of this, like, it has affected a lot of relationships differently. And we just, we're going to be very open and candid. You know what I'm saying? There definitely was, it started off well, you know what I mean? Like, we started off fine, you know what I'm saying? And then, like, after you go through like a month of having limited activity, we're extroverts, you know what I'm saying? Even though we're introverts, when we're in the house, we're in the house, but when we're out, we're out. And I think it was just that more so we didn't realize how much we were going to miss having our, in-person relationships with all the people that we built our bonds with throughout the community. You know what I mean? We miss a lot of that. And just, you're very close with your mom, you know what I mean? So it's been tough because you haven't been able to share that bond as close as you normally would, your sister, grandparents, you know what I mean? So it has been tough. And I always talked about like the toll that it takes on Nyla, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like, as things coalesce and things like that, you know what I mean? Things have shifted in a way. I remember like maybe it was about a month and a half in or so. We definitely had a patch there where it was getting like, it was just tense. It was tense. And I at some point I realized I don't think it really had anything to do with us. I just think it has more so to do with just the conditions and situations that we was in. You know what I'm saying? So
the restriction, you're just not used to it. And you don't you almost take it for granted.
Yeah, especially, you know, combine it with you being pregnant, your hormones, you know what I'm saying? And then my testosterone's all over the place, working out, da-da-da-da-da. So
don't blame stuff on my pregnancy hormones. That's like
see, you can't say
that's
nothing.
the bull
You can't say
territory.
nothing. You're not supposed to say nothing about pregnant women and their feelings, apparently, allegedly. This is the problem we get into because I don't be playing by these rules. Like, I don't know where y'all make up these rules, but men, we can't do that. We don't got nothing. Tell me a rule we got that we can hold y'all to. Nothing. So what has been the best moment that you've had during dealing with this COVID stuff? Because, like, you know, for me, there's been a revelation of, I think that one thing I realized is, like, if we could be in the house as much as we've been in the house around each other as much as we have been, for a lot of relationships or a lot of couples, work is a distraction. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like, once we got past the initial whatever, and we had to understand what we needed to focus on. Like, I feel like I've actually become closer to you because I'm actually gonna miss you when you go back to doing work outside of the house and stuff like that. And I feel like that's impacted us recently because, you know, I've been out here doing all these protests and we got so used to being around each other that it was weird or awkward. Like, even now I'm like doing the podcast from the gallery, but that's because I'm keeping the building open so some of the protesters come use the restroom. Mm-hmm. And it's tough to balance between being active in the community when they need me right now and active in my family. I feel a lot of guilt some days where I feel like I'm not able to do enough for you guys, for you ladies at home when I'm out here trying to do so much for the community. But I think that to a degree you understand the sacrifice that needs to be made. But I want you to talk about what that sacrifice is like.
Honestly, we always put everything above us. So the hardest part for me is not being able to be there too. Like, it's almost unnatural. And it's like, wait, I have to work. Like, I have to do this. I have to do that. It's just not the norm. But we're also, I think, extremely lucky for technology that keeps us connected. I feel very grateful to work for a very supportive nonprofit, Entrepreneurship for All, who understands the balance that I'm trying to maintain right now. And it's weird being pregnant because then it's like you're still trying to keep your family safe at the same time, even though there's this bigger monster out there that we need to fight. Like, we thought COVID was a monster, but it's got nothing on what's happening in our streets right now. And we just want to be, and Nyla wants to be there too. She was born and raised, and she'll continue to do so right by our side. So it's just awkward not being able to be fully engaged in the process. But I also feel grateful that you're able to be there. And a lot of people question it, but I've said before, it wasn't even a conversation. It is what it is. This is who we are and what we do. And it wasn't even a second thought. And I feel like we'll deal with whatever later. But right now, this is what needs to be done.
Yeah, one of the things I noticed that seems to be hard for a lot of relationship is just making concessions on certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think one thing that's dope about us is that we didn't really change each other. We just kind of molded each other to each other's compromise line. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still me, essentially. I always talk about relationships being like this. So, like, yeah, we meet in the middle, but I'm still me. You're still you. And when we're together, that's just a dope, like, it's like the foundation and the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I don't care which one is which. They're both just as important. If you think the foundation is more important, well, when it rains, you're going to be happy you got a roof. So, you know what I mean? There's it's just perspective. I think that we share good perspective. And, you know, a lot of times people put us in a bag of like this perfect couple or perfect marriage. And I want people to understand, like, this takes constant work. You know what I'm saying? And the biggest thing is constant communication. She has plenty of moments where I'm definitely the more annoying one. And there's plenty of times where I fall back into my bag of like, it's easy for me to just not talk or just shut a conversation down and walk away. And she's the opposite. She's like, no, we need to talk about this. We need to have it out. So we kind of find a medium sometimes where like my not talking will last for 10 minutes and then we'll go back to it. But as awkward as and funny as that is, like I'm the one that's willing to apologize though, and she will not. I mean, will not say I'm sorry. She'll do things to show that she's sorry about things, but she will not say it. And please, I'm hoping Nyla doesn't pick that up.
No comment.
Yeah, see, exactly. So one of the things I wanted to get into is like I know, we talk about the fact that like, you come out to the, because one of my things from my perspective is I know you want to be out there, but just like when we went out and you were wearing the mask and Nyla was wearing the mask early, way before everybody was talking about wearing masks and people were still ridiculing the mask. For me, from my male stance in this relationship, from the protector stance, I can deal with being ridiculed on myself when I'm out. It's extremely hard for me to deal with anybody giving you any kind of lip at all, or my daughter any kind of lip at all. Like, and even at protests, we have, parties that disagree with each other. You know what I'm saying? So it's really tough to get you to understand that sometimes that I will respond so much faster to reverting back to these knuckles, the knuckle game, if it has anything to do with you, Nyla, or mostly people around me. I'll take crap. You've seen me do it. Like I'll take crap myself, but I'm not for watching my peoples around me take crap. So one of the major reasons why I'm always worried about you being out there is just not understand. There's a hood dynamic out there. You know what I'm saying? And not that that's a negative, but sometimes they don't understand who they're dealing with. And you're my flower, you know what I'm saying? And again, people who like to misconstrue a flower's beautiful, but yes, it's very strong too. It grows through concrete, grows up the side of buildings, grows through fences, will move the world. You know what I'm saying? So don't get that twisted. But you are my flower, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I get very tense anytime you're at those kind of situations with me. And I don't want to feel misogynistic in that sense, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I feel like it gets twisted up. Do you feel like, as your husband, if I feel like I'm trying to keep you out of those scenarios, do you feel like that's a little bit like misogynistic or chauvinistic?
Sometimes, because I'm a lot less sensitive than you when it comes to stuff like that. Like I can just roll my eyes, toss it off, like whatever, and keep on doing what I'm doing. I know you get extremely offended by stuff like that. But I also appreciate it in the same sense because it's something that I know that I'll never have to worry about. But I also think it's important for women to know, like, when I go out alone at night and it's just me and Nyla, like, get yourself some mace. You have the legal right to bear arms. Don't be afraid to have that power to protect yourself as well. Because we know women in general can come off at the mouth, but you never know what someone else's reaction is going to be. So, we're licensed to carry. As soon as my sister turned 18, I got her some mace. Like, it's just that the world is crazy nowadays. And people get so easily taken advantage of. So I'm definitely grateful for you in those scenarios. But I also want women to know that there are means and ways that you can go about taking care of yourself as well if you are ever in that situation. I know that the colleges host free self-defense classes, rape aggression defense classes. Like, people should really take advantage of those opportunities that are out there. And most of them are free.
And see, like for me, right? Just from my male perspective, for lack of a better term, even though these classes teach self-defense and, they give you mace. And again, I advise, just like my wife said, to take all of those courses and go through all of those routes. As someone who's well-versed in violence, there are gray areas to that. There's some people that mace doesn't affect the same. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that a groin hit doesn't affect the same. So I'm always worried about those outliers, and it's a part of my fear that makes me worry about that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, it's imperative that you're at least taking the options to protect yourself. But I also feel and again, this is going to come across sexist. We're being honest here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be whatsoever. I'm being honest with you so you can understand where my mind works. You know, if I look at, my wife and there's a guy, she's got mace on her. She's been through her self-defense classes, but this dude's shack big. You know what I'm saying? Like there's outliers. There's things in there that in my male mind, I scan a situation because, and I'm not saying that men, I am saying it. Men 9 times out of 10 commit more crimes. Men 9 times out of 10 are in more violent situations. So I just think that we look at peril and violence in a different lens sometimes from our female counterparts because we get into so many brawls and craziness. You know what I'm saying? So it just some of it's my fear, but as time has gone on, I've learned to not have that fear, and I feel comfortable because you have your license to carry. I feel comfortable because now you're comfortable enough to walk around with your license to carry, and you have the ability to conceal now. So like I feel comfortable that you've activated those rights, and it's actually taken some weight off my shoulders when you go out, or if you go out with our daughter somewhere or something like that. So it was a hard thing for me to learn because my natural instinct growing up has always been the protector. I've always been fighting other people's fights and my fights. But as time has gone on and I get older and wiser, it's like it's important to allow women that space to be empowered by the fact that they can protect themselves. But I also want to express that this is me, my opinion. I'm not speaking for every male. It's also important to understand that since the dawn of time, like we've had something built into our DNA to protect. You know what I mean? Like it's something in our DNA. Not every guy's built like that, but some of us still got that.
But we also have to remember that we all have a personal responsibility to look out for each other as well. Like if I see another mom, walking through the parking lot at night, trying to shovel all the bags in the car, shovel the kids in the car, more than one kid, and all this, I'll stand there for an extra second and keep an eye out. And I just think everyone has that personal responsibility to, not. And I used to be like that. I used to be very like unaware of my surroundings. But now that I know, you always look out for the next person. Because, I've had that experience walking to my car by myself, the last person at a Target walking across the parking lot. It's late. It's dark.
That damn Target.
And, the gentleman was just collecting carts. But I viewed him as a threat at the time because I was alone. It was late. It was dark. I was in another town. I wasn't in my hometown, so I was in a place that I was unfamiliar with. And I was a new mom. Nyla was a newborn. So I was like, I called inside the store and was like, can you tell this guy, you don't have to follow me to grab my cart. Like it'll be here in 5 minutes. Like, let me just get in the car. So to feel that fear of being out and alone, that's why I think, again, everyone has that personal responsibility to look out for one another, especially women. And, that goes back into girl code. And, the way I grew up was you don't go to the bathroom by yourself. You don't go to a guy's house by yourself. None of that. None of that was a thing. Like we've had instances, as young adults and teenagers, you want to go back to that guy's dorm room? That's fine. We'll be sitting right outside. We're not judging you, but we're not leaving you either. And I hope that this generation grows up the same way. Just to, again, look out for each other. Girl code is a real thing. And it's really important, especially when girls are going missing and they're getting into the wrong cars and they just don't know, sacrifice.
Yeah, and understand that that stat you just gave right there about girls going missing is exactly why my brain can't kick that habit of needing to protect women. And I wish that we can get to a space where that thought process of protecting isn't always taken as sexist or misogynistic. I would be honored if somebody wanted to protect me. It just don't happen. I'd be out here and it's like, yo, if something happened to me, something happens to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I would be honored if I had people to turn to. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was out in the streets, I was neutral, so I didn't pick a gang or a street to rep. So that almost made it more dangerous for me going around and moving around. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you're a lone wolf out there in a a conglomerate of hyenas everywhere on every different corner. You know what I'm saying? So like every corner I walked to, including my own, was a problem because I didn't want to get down with how they wanted to be hood. I had my own idea of it. I learned that from my uncle. You know what I'm saying? I learned it from a few other people, but it was dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So like, just seeing the stats of how many women go missing every year, every day, how many black girls especially go missing, how many Native American women who live on land that don't have the same laws, so it's not reported the same way, are raped. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna keep it real. Like, a man walking down the street on average is not worried about getting raped. You know what I'm saying? So there's a different level of danger that women can go through on average. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, sure, I'm worried about a dude having a problem and taking a shot at me, but I could actually I would have to be in a certain type of lifestyle and certain kind of, situation to have to worry about that. If I'm living right, then I might not have to worry about that. But it doesn't matter what kind of lifestyle you're living as a woman. Getting raped is a reality. You know what I'm saying? And it turns my stomach and it brings out the protector in me. So it's hard to kick that habit. You know what I mean? When I say that I never want to, because like, let me give you an example. I'm willing to take directions from you, all of that good stuff, but when it comes to like safety situations, because I feel like I'm more experienced in safety situations, that's when I shut down and I default to what I feel like I'm a professional at. You know what I'm saying? And I respect that you respect that, because there have been situations where I could see it coming, nobody else could see it. Then as we're leaving, it's popping off. You know what I'm saying? So,
but also consider, just like I talk about girl code and things like that, and how important it is to, as you grow into an adult, building your village. People ask me all the time if the people that I'm with, oh, is that your family? I just got asked, that over the weekend, and it's like, well, no, we're not blood, but we've been friends for almost 20 years, since high school. And I learned that from my mom. I always admired the friendships that my mother has maintained with her friends since high school, and how they look out for one another. And as I'm growing, I'm learning that it's not just about me. People look out for my daughter. People look out for my husband. People will say, I know you're working late. What did they eat for dinner? I'll drop something off. I'll send some, like, those are normal things that happen, because we've created our village that way. And I think, if nothing else, my PSA is it definitely takes a village. And if you don't have one, reach out to us. We will be a part of it. But think about it for yourself. You could be as tough, as manly, as macho, as strong, whatever, prepared, armed, ready to go. But to always have that someone by your side, to maybe you need to be calmed down in a situation. Maybe the situation calls that you need to be rah-rah, need that backup. Like, that's part of it too. That's your village too. It's not, you don't always have to take that on by yourself. And I think that you also have surrounded yourself with good people that will call you out if you need it, or back you up when it's necessary. And that's just things that people should do for each other more often.
Yeah, one thing that I can say for sure that you helped me with is if smoke came, I'm ready to set a fire. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way it was with me, period. So you were the first person ever, basically because of the females that I was associating myself with as well. They kind of got off on me always fighting. You know what I'm saying? And you were the first person ever to just be like, all right, but did you have to? Da, 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 da. And then also, like you said, sometimes like you have seen people disrespect me in a way where I would literally come to you first and be like, babe, I'm gonna have to handle this.
Some things it just is what it is, and I get it.
Yeah, so I've been appreciative of that. But as I've gotten older and wiser and been around you longer, I'm actually able to, I've gained that skill now to be able to discern before I throw that fist. You know what I'm saying? Like recently, you know, I just had a major development with somebody in the community out here that has a little bit, you know, a lot of bit of nativism in themselves about, and they're very territorial about their community, and they didn't like the fact that I'm somebody out here making positive change in a way that they probably felt like they should have been that person. And my perspective is would you have rather me come to your community and be a drug dealer? Like, I'm confused, you know what I'm saying? So in that moment, I was ready to have at it, but you know, I slow down now to at least hear the person out. Like, nah, let me hear you first and see if I really need to deck you real quick. And you taught me that skill, and then I was able to come to a peaceful resolve, and we were able to come to some kind of understanding, to the point that I'm actually advocating for this person now to be heard and have people understand how a person can get to that frame of mind where they haven't been heard for so long that they come across hostile. They feel like they have no choice. So again, this is things that you've taught me through our relationship and being together as far as empathy. But I can also say, dealing with me as well, is I've seen you become way more assertive. I've seen you, like, especially working in the business that you're working in now, for the nonprofit that you're working for now. I've seen you definitely you have way more edge now, you know what I'm saying, but you're measured with it. So I think that we've done a good job of like mending a lot of our strengths and weaknesses together. But I want to get into the nitty gritty, right? So because for me, I'm outwardly not the jealous type. I'm inwardly the jealous type, right? So like I could process something and then I could say it later, but I'm not even tripping like most of the time, because most of the time I just tell myself that's whack. I actually have like made myself feel like any kind of jealousy for me is whack. But how do you, because you know we're married, we're secure, you know what I'm saying, and I live a lifestyle of loyalty, you know that, me and you. So at what point does it, you know that with me and you, so at what point does it come to you? What will worry you, even if someone's showing you all the actions that it takes, that they're loyal, dedicated, and for you? What will worry you? Like what puts you in that area of worry? Or is that just a part of the flow?
It's just a thing. I mean, when you're, not to bring the media into it, but it is sometimes influential. And I don't know. I think that people that think that they would never get cheated on or whatever are naive to the fullest extent. You got Beyonce out here getting cheated on. You got Rihanna out here getting STDs and beat up. Like, it's a thing. You have people that have been married for 40 years and, you know, maybe they got married when they were young, or maybe they had kids first and their focus was always on the kids, and, you know, they never paid attention to each other. And now that the kids are gone, it's like, okay, now what? Let me go fool around. Like, I don't know. That's just me. I think it's naive to think that that would never happen to me. So I'm always, it's not a constant for me, but it's not like I'm neglecting it either.
No, for sure.
But it definitely keeps you on your toes. Like, this balance takes work. It can't just be lackluster, and you can't just be so comfortable that it's like whatever. Like, no, you do have to make time for each other. And one thing that I try really hard to do, and I know it's not always easy because mom guilt is a thing, but putting like us first. Like, if we're not good together, like, how can we be good co-parents? How can we be good examples for our children? Like, so we have to show each other that love and attention constantly. And sometimes that means saying, not right now, Nyla, I'm talking to daddy. Like, you get our utmost attention, but for this 10 minutes, we're going to sit down and eat dinner together, and we just need to talk. And I know she doesn't understand right now because she's only a toddler, but I think that's a really important key factor in maintaining what we have.
Yeah, for me, right? So like, and it's good that we're having this conversation because I don't think I've ever really said it like this, you know what I'm saying? But like, loyalty turned into a lifestyle for me. You know, like, you know how I am. When I get into something, I'm into that thing, and like loyalty turned into a lifestyle for me. So I know and I know some of this is like because I am out doing the public stuff. I do have a lot of young men and women around me all the time. And like you said, the media can play into it. You know what I mean? But for me, man, it's just I'm just like, again, we're not here for the ahs and all of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all. Like, for me, like, I had a vision in my head, but I could never see the face or the person or da-da-da-da as what I felt could be somebody to help me. And growing up with issues, not having a good relationship with my mom always made me distrustful of women, even if I was with them. So I never really gave anybody a fair shot to get close to me or close enough to me for me to learn anything. And you're literally the first woman when we first were dealing with each other and we were just dating. You were the first woman that I hurt, and it actually bothered me. And I openly admit that. I feel bad for my kid's mother's prior because I didn't feel nothing. But it was your approach. And I'm not saying that this is gonna work for everybody, but you almost gave me like the I'm not mad, I'm disappointed vibe. And then you expressed it in a way that it was genuine pain. It wasn't anger. I didn't feel anger from you. I felt legitimate pain. And I don't think I've ever had that kind of response based on who I selected. It was just like, you did what? We fight, then he's back to whatever, you know what I'm saying? And you just, Control C, Control V, you're back to it. But you were the first person, again, for so many things in my life that make me pause and think about things, you know what I'm saying? So like, and again, it's not from a place of perfection. There's plenty of work left to do. And like I always tell people, like people who look at us in a certain way, like, yo, balance requires work, constant work. I like that we're both cognizant of the fact that we do need time for ourselves, even though it's damn near impossible to get because of all the things that we do. But I also like the fact that we can appreciate sometimes that the time that we do spend together helping the community is our time for ourselves. I mean, it's just something that we love to do. We just got to learn to take our breaks. We're not good at taking breaks. Neither one of us are great at taking breaks. We say I've been saying all week I'm gonna take a break from the protests and everything, and you look at me every day like okay, and I get a little tight because I'm like, I said I'm gonna take a break, and then I'll be right outside like, God damn it, she was right.
But I think we're lucky to have our family, and it's not the typical, we don't have the typical date night, but my mom didn't work yesterday, so she was able to pick up Nyla early in the day, and we were able to go to Walmart for 2 hours. Like before kids, that was something we would do in the middle of the night. We would drive up to the 24-hour Walmart just for snacks or whatever. So I think it's just important to fitting it in where we can. And again, it's not perfect, and I'm not going to be naive, but in the same sense, it's like when you know that your intentions are good and you're trying to grow and learn and be a better person. Like, I can't sit here and think like everything, oh my God, who's going to cheat on me? Oh my God. Like, if you do, I'll be very hurt, but you have to live with that.
Mm-hmm.
Not me. I'm not going to sit here and uproot my whole life because you screwed up, and I would hope the same vice versa. Like, I would have to live with that. I would have to, look at myself in the mirror and deal with that. And it's just that I think guilt will eat you alive more than anything.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely experienced that. Like I said, like in our dating days, I definitely experienced that. You know what I'm saying? I told you at the time, you know what I'm saying? I think we've come far enough where you understand maybe it different now, because in the moment you can't understand what I'm saying. But at the time, I didn't know if this was going to be long term. I didn't know what long term was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would just blink and the girl I was with was still next to me, but I had all these other girls at the time. Like, I was never I had a complex too, because like I was never the looker, quote unquote. So I was always hunting. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I never, like I was into the vanity. I'm blessed that you're a beautiful woman and all of that stuff, but like at the end of the day, like I fell in love with who's on the inside. I'm just blessed that the outside matches the inside. You know what I'm saying? But like, you changed that, because again, I was worried, because again, to me, you was just another pretty face that was gonna be a problem. At that time, you know what I'm saying? That's how I viewed it. And I was like, yo, this is just gonna be fun. You know what I'm saying? And we both went into that thinking that way. So when we both went into it thinking that way, when things started to switch up and I was looking at my kid's mother, like, I started to feel guilty, like, am I doing the wrong thing? But I needed to make a move, and I knew I needed to make a move. Why would I go back to doing what I knew wasn't healthy? You know what I'm saying? But again, it's different. It's like a person who is in is in recovery. You know, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? It is hard. And I feel like if there's any big changes that I made, it's the level of loyalty that I have. Now, I can say this, though, because like men don't like to talk about when they get jealous, right? And like I rarely am in that space. Rarely. She'll tell you, right? But the only time, it's funny because like the only time I might even feel an inclination of jealousy is if I feel like you're not recognizing me staying on course. Like I feel like every now and then we need to make sure, just because look at, we live in a society where people are rewarded for doing bad shit. And then when you do good shit, people are like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. If I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, don't you get like perfect attendance awards? Don't you get like, you know what I'm saying? Like honor roll. So like, can I get my honor roll? So, you know, she works with a lot of different people, male, female, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Gay, lesbian, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And every now and then I feel like, damn, she just bigged up the fuck out of this motherfucker. Like, what's up? Like, I'm out here. You know I'm out here. Like, don't just get used to me being out here. I always tell everybody, like, don't abuse the fact that I'm here. You know what I'm saying?
Like, I'll admit, I'm real comfy. I know.
So that's the only time I feel any kind of like jealousy. I'm like, nigga, your man is the shit, bro. Like, you better throw some Charmin at me. I'm the shit.
If I could find some,
my man Jonathan, I see you, bro. He said, give a motherfucker a sticker or something, right? Can I get a gold star, baby? Can I get a gold? We gotta keep a chart in the kitchen. Can I get a gold star? Now, I will say this too, though. Sometimes I over-evaluate certain things. Like, I might have cooked and she might have enjoyed the meal, but that was the one time I cooked all month. So why would it seem that special to her when she's been slaving and doing what she got to do to work and take on that task? You know what I'm saying? So like there are times where I'm learning to be like, all right, that's not a big deal. I just cook, whatever, bong. But the stuff that I'm super consistent at, like being a great father, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm consistent.
Hey, I tell people all the time, I might not say it out loud, but I tell my friends all the time, like when it comes to Nyla, like I literally do nothing.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I hold that down. That was
we
like
wake up, we have breakfast together. Then it's like, go ahead, Dad. And then dinner time, bedtime, let's go. All that in between, I got nothing to do with that. Nothing.
So, ladies, like we can't keep giving all the energy to the negative aspects of men. I'm gonna just call it out. That's sexist if you're not recognizing good men. If you, it's I don't know what the opposite of chauvinistic would be for a woman, but it's not healthy to not recognize when you don't take advantage of having something good in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't do that with her. That a lot of women, you'll have a guy who's filthy, stinking rich. Why they leave? Because they ain't paying attention. They're not paying attention. They're like, yo, this money in this house and everything they got, that must keep them cool. But when's the last time you told her she's beautiful? When's the last time, you know what I'm saying, you held her hand? When's the last time? Y'all be acting like it's corny to hold your woman's hand outside. Like, that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, fine, some people are into PDA, so that to each their own. But like the ones that's doing it just based off an egistical thing, you gotta let that go, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the little things that matter. That's the little things that they gotta remember. But you also, as women, y'all gotta think about how crappy our holidays are. Like men just get, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody's with this patriarchy shit now. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm black. I don't know nothing about this. Like I understand there's some misogyny from the shit that I came through in hip hop and all of that, but I'm still a black male. I'm going through a lot of shit out here. You know what I'm saying? So I could use a pat on the back every now and then. Because if I'm excelling in areas where most of the people around us in these organizations are white people or people that have already even the black people in the circles had a level of privilege I wasn't accustomed to. Mm-hmm. So for me to be able to move and shake in those rooms, be real, represent the people in a real way without being disrespectful, and gaining empathy and gaining leeway and gaining actual leverage to get us empowered is a big deal. And it's funny because like I'd rather a compliment from you than anybody else. When I get complimented from anybody else, you know my routine is like, I ain't shit. Nah, chill, bro. It makes me feel awkward. It's like you are my confirmation factory. You know what I'm saying? Like I need that from you, not everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Yes, this is true though. It's difficult when you get comfortable, you forget to appreciate everything. Sometimes I have to take a step back and just appreciate my SO. What's that? Oh, significant other. Yeah, it's important. It's important. You know, like David's an incredible man. You know what I'm saying? Like he's an incredible man, and we got to start championing all these people that are doing what they're supposed to do out here. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell my wife all the time, like, yo, you could be mayor out here. That might not be her ambition, but I just want to let her know that she could be. You know what I'm saying? People compare us to Jay-Z and Beyonce all the time. I don't really like the comparison. Because we're Peter and Samia, period. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not out here trying to pump fake to keep up with anybody else or anything like that. We've been in our own race. You know what I mean? And I think that's important too in relationships, is taking that pressure off yourself to be worried about what everybody else's relationships doing. Focusing on you, locking on you. That's been the best thing for me. I got plenty of bros when I met Samia, and even now, married, you know what I'm saying? Been here for years, married now, and they still be like, yo, bro, you whipped. Da 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 da. But then the same dudes be telling me about getting their clothes thrown out the window and all this other shit, waiting to exhale scenes and shit. I'm like, yeah, bro, then fuck it, I'm whipped. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be locked in on your relationship too. You know what I mean? Yeah, Samia for mayor, for real. So again, like, you know, we're here to be very clairvoyant. You know what I'm saying? If you have any questions, please type them in there. If you want to join the conversation, by all means, hit me up in my inbox. I will definitely send you a link and have you join in on the conversation. This is about healthy dialogue. This isn't about, you know, atypical relationships either. So if you're of the community, you know what I'm saying, you want to come on here and talk about the complexities of being in those relationships, if what's different, what's not different. If you're a person who's single and you enjoy the single life, let's talk about that. You know, what are the causes behind that? Why does that work better for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know. You know, yeah, Brandon, if whip life is sipping pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, then fuck it. I'm out here, son. I'm out here. You better crack that whip, girl. We like the Walker family better than the Carter family. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that.
Except for the part where he bought her an island for her birthday.
Oh, well, damn, you know, we just got a pool, babe. Like, you know, we got a pool.
I know. Nyla keeps calling it the beach.
Yeah, that's right. We building the beach in the yard. I don't know about no. I ain't got island money. Goddamn, I'm from the islands. You know what I'm saying? Trinidad. You got the island right there, girl. But what questions do y'all have for us? What questions does the audience have for us? Like, ask something that you've been going through. You know, I think that we're not experts in anybody's situation because everybody's situation is different. But I think that we've come along far enough that we can share insight. You know what I'm saying? And give you guys some insight on how we deal with things.
I think you should also say, and you never tell on me, and I appreciate that. But when we got into this situation, I had a boyfriend at the time. I had no business even talking to you. None.
I stole her.
I was a hot mess as a young 20, 21-year-old. So it's a thing.
Yeah, nah, like I never say nothing, dog. I be chilling. Yeah,
and I appreciate that because it keeps me sparkling.
Yeah, nah, she be trying to stay squeaky. Mrs. Clean over here trying to stay squeaky, you know what I'm saying? And her reputation means everything to me too. But I think that she's also learned from me being so willing to admit my faults to everybody, because that's how I teach from my mistakes, that we're all human. We go through things, you know what I'm saying? So at the time when we met, you know what I mean, I was doing my music thing, my 1-2. I was with my mother of 2 boys at the time. And then she was just working, you know, I was doing speakeasies on some real shit. I was doing underground events and stuff like that. And she came in. I said, at least if I'm selling illegal liquor at these events, I can have a bartender. So my man Ace knew her, and he hit her up and asked her to come out the bartend. As soon as I seen her, I was like, this girl looks different. But then when she walked in and we talked a little bit, I was like, oh, she's not from around these parts. But anyway, so I said, what the hell are you doing in the middle of Roxbury over here trying to do underground parties, the bartend? But whatever, she was out there trying to live a life. So, you know, I think like over the course of like 4 months, I was already going through tumultuous stuff with my kid's mother at the time, and we had split. And me and Mia were still friends at the time, so it wasn't even like that at all. But as time went on, now I'm available. You know what I'm saying? I knew she had a man too, so I was like, well, I gotta stop stealing stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta stop stealing stuff. But I stole her. I absconded her and ran off like a thief into the night.
Hot mess.
And it's funny because I remember there was times where we didn't, because of that scenario, we were talking about this not being a long-term thing, not taking each other too serious. And it's hilarious because like, that's the first time I ever really had those conversations. I never felt the need to have those conversations. I didn't take shit serious, so I didn't have those conversations. But for us to have those conversations, you know what I'm saying? We was in love to all the fucking Steal Your Girl songs. It was ridiculous.
It was so cliche at the time.
Yeah, no, it def was. But it's interesting, again, fast forward. She was in an unhealthy situation. I came out of an unhealthy situation. We were two broken people, and instead of breaking each other, we definitely had some years where we was doing some more damage to each other as far as working out our dynamics from our previous situations. But we got to the point where we started healing each other, really mending each other. And I'm not talking about band-aids. I'm talking about true healing. I got a question from my man Brandon. He said, how early did y'all start talking about marriage?
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. 7 years. And it was funny too, because I think that what happened is that, we was in relationship mode for so long, you start to ask yourself, where's this going?
Like, what's next?
What's next? And it started to even aggravate us. It even started to cause some arguments and conflict. And I'll never forget, because she be trying to keep me squeaky too. But one day we was having a conversation, and it was mad aggravating. And I was like, get in the car. We got in the car, went to Providence Place Mall, went to the jewelry store, grabbed her a ring. I mean, I was angry too. I was like, she think I won't marry her ass. All right, let's see. You call my bluff? All right, cool. Pulled up to the store, grabbed a ring right in Providence Place Mall, walked over to the escalators in front of the movie theater, in front of everybody, got down on one knee and asked her to marry me. And she was blown away. You know what I'm saying? We got mad at these funny stories. But
yeah, there's no, you can't really put a time frame on it. It was all about your personal growth, what you're ready for. I mean, every girl, dreams about a big wedding and all of that. And we had a beautiful wedding, but it's really, not about that. I always tell people my advice, even after all of that, we had the perfect day. Just elope. It's just about you two. And, I see people talking about it online now, like during COVID, like weddings and stuff got canceled. And it's like, you know what? The people that wanted to get married got married. The people that wanted a wedding canceled. Mm-hmm. And that shows, true commitment. But yeah, you can't put a time frame on it. You can't put it's funny because we almost got there at the same time. And it was just like, okay, this is it. This is what's next. Let's get married. And then it was like, okay, let's have a baby. We wanted to share those things with each other. And then buying a house, like it was just the natural flow of things for us, and everyone's flow is going to be different. And everyone's order of operation is going to be different, and that's fine. There's no like rules to this.
Absolutely not. There's no one answer fits all for your time frame. It's having a level of understanding. Sometimes you can have that level of understanding with somebody in a couple of months. Sometimes you can have that level of understanding through years. I think the reason that it took us years is because
I didn't like you for a long time.
Yeah, that's a fact.
I didn't like you for a long
time. She definitely didn't. She held grudges, you know what I'm saying, which is perfectly fine. And I went through heck. I went through wreck, but I stuck in the pocket, you know what I'm saying? Like I was getting sacked every day, you know what I mean? But I was committed to the fact that I wanted to make sure that I dealt with what happened, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's how we knew.
Yeah, facts. So I got tackled. Every single day. She started to go batshit crazy on me at some point, and I stuck in the pocket. You know what I'm saying? Because I really, in my heart, felt like she deserved that, and it wasn't like I didn't cause it. You know what I'm saying? So I stuck in the pocket. My man Junior said, "My question is, when did Samia start to accept moon bounces in her life?"
When I had a coupon.
Yep.
When I had a coupon.
It's a coupon. She's gonna get it.
It's still not up yet, but we got it.
Yep. So I want to say like post marriage, right? So like I think one of the best things that we had post marriage too is we have a lot of married couples around us that have been sticking it out. You know what I'm saying? And those people, two things I realized: none of that shit's perfect. You know what I'm saying? They still have arguments, disagreements, and all of that. So don't think marriage is like the end of turmoil. No, marriage is a commitment to loyalty to build a legacy together. It doesn't stop you guys having mood swings, not feeling something, being hangry, whatever it is. It doesn't stop none of that. It's just a commitment to each other's souls. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people like to talk against marriage because, you know, you see a lot of the trendy stuff going on with TV with people making it about divorce and splitting money and all that stuff. I'm a different type of individual. So it doesn't matter if I was, you know, if she wasn't shooting in the gym with me or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's been there holding the house down, everything like that. So if I got it, she's taking half out of that situation. Now, I will say this, though. I've said this very openly, very candidly. If this marriage, knock on wood over here because I ain't trying to jinx nothing. But if it didn't work out, I'm never getting married again, though. Never. And that's based on where my cards are dealt also as well. You know,
I'm fine with that.
This of course she is. This is gonna be my 5th child coming. You know what I'm saying? I've already messed up 2 broken homes. You know what I'm saying? I had 2 kids at the same time when I was 20, 21. And I just had a bad situation. I created a bad situation. I didn't have I made a bad situation. And I just can't see myself trying it again with 5 kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't happening. So I will be the oldest bachelor alive, but I still will be committed to making sure that I respect and be there for her however I can, even if she moves on to another situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, but me, nah, it ain't happening. Like, it ain't happening. So one of the most interesting things I think that's been surreal for us is and that helped our relationship grow is being homeowners. Thank you, Brandon. Is being homeowners. So let's talk about that experience because it was different, you know, being at Park Street to being where we are now. Like, do you think that that's helped us? Because we share a lot of responsibility with what's going on with the home. Do you think that that's like another aspect of like why that? Because, you know, they always say, you know, get married, have the baby, or get married, get a home, have the baby. We did it kind of in that same order, right? We did it in that order actually this time. And do you, now that you've done it that way, do you feel like it actually had a positive impact?
As much as I miss living downstairs from my mom, yes, because you're not only here for each other, but you have something bigger to build on. So this is like a lifelong thing. Like, we have a 30-year mortgage. So we got at least 30 years together. But yeah, it's definitely, it's a different feeling when you have similar goals and missions with someone that you can actually work together on accomplishing them. Because by all means, you can do it on your own. I watched my mom do it, and she did amazing. She bought a house by herself, raised 2 girls by herself. Like, we turned out great, thank God. She was killing it in that realm. Still is, because I'm still very needy when it comes to my mom. My sister is too. That's just how close we are. But to have like just that partnership is really it's really cool, because you always have like someone to lean on, someone to back you up, someone to like just, you're always there, and that's comforting in itself.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I'm also the doormat sometimes too. She be taking her shit out on me. Which is, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes I understand, you know what I mean? Like, especially if she's had a long day at work and, you know, I'm over here like just doing whatever I'm doing. Because sometimes it gets confusing when it's like, it seems like what I'm doing is fun sometimes. Appearances can be deceiving. I love hosting events. I love throwing events. I love building with people. I love showcasing people's talents, but it is very taxing dealing with so many different dynamics, personas, and all of that stuff. And I think over time she's learned that although it could look like, you know, fun in the beginning, I mean, she's seen me deal with stuff that most people probably couldn't have made it through and would have quit. And I also recalibrated what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like Mia was with me when I first started the grind of like the music grind and the promotion grind and the production grind. And she's watched me do things, mind you, not spending $1 sometimes to get in the rooms with people that are quote unquote celebrity and all of that good stuff, just off of sheer willpower. But then it came a point in my life where, you know, that saying when they say, you know better, you do better. And I watched the industry change in a way where I felt like I was at a split in the road, especially around the time we was going to get married. I was choosing between the fast-paced life of being on that road and probably losing my soul because I know what my weaknesses are, and choosing to take a steadier route of being committed to. And again, like the steadier route is the scarier route because you just don't know. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know. The faster road doesn't seem as scary because everything that comes with it while you're speeding. You know what I'm saying? But I chose that road because I just couldn't see myself separating my soul from someone to sell my soul to someone. You know what I'm saying? It was like a crazy choice at that time. Do I have days where I'm like, damn, I could have did this, I could have did that, da, 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 da. Of course, we all have days like that. You know what I'm saying? If you played sports or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I used to play football. I was like, damn, if I kept playing football instead of going into the streets, I could have been on the Patriots or something like that. We all got that. You know what I'm saying? But it's embracing where we're at now. That's important. You know what I'm saying? This is home because my brother, my girl, and I are saving for a multifamily. Yo, put money into multifamilies, man. It's important. It's imperative. Real estate is a part of almost every single affluent person's portfolio. You know what I mean? It's still a land grab.
And live together and rent out the rest.
Bingo. You know, we're blessed that we have a one bedroom attached to our house that we rent out. And without saying too much, I can't tell you how beneficial it is to have that extra income coming in while we're taking care of this house and looking for another one now, you know, over the next few years to grab another three family or something like that to add on. You know, retirement plans ain't what they used to be, man. Severance ain't what it used to be, man. You gotta, you know, one true thing is like people who aren't willing to risk an investment because they're too afraid to take a loss never really get ahead. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta take it. You gotta take that chance and invest in something. And real estate's pretty stable overall. It's about you as a landlord, to be honest with you, how real estate works out for you. We're very fair. You know what I'm saying? Our first experience was a roller coaster. But even in that experience, we was very fair with the people that we dealt with. So much so that when we see them today, they've accepted where they were wrong at and understood that we always had their best interests at heart. But again, we're very fair. You know, some people say don't go into business with family. I don't understand it because the Walmart family's making billions. The Gates family's making billions. The Jobs family made billions. You know what I'm saying? So like the Bezos family, I mean, his wife came out caked up when she divorced his Lex Luthor looking ass. But you know what I'm saying? Like it is imperative to build businesses through your family bloodline. That's how you build a legacy. So what it is understanding people's strengths and weaknesses. So like your Uncle Jojo who fucks up the hustle every week is not the guy to put in charge of the account, but he might be the guy to put in charge of handling, I don't know, the door. If you got a club, he might be in charge of handling the bar. You know what I'm saying? If he has those skill sets, it's just understanding what people's strengths and weaknesses are and not being naive enough to think just because they're family, they're going to be great at the task that you need handled.
I think it's important to note as well that like we were scared to buy a house.
Oh yeah.
It's a huge, again, you're locked into something for 30 years. Circumstances can change in the blink of an eye. And we went out on a limb. Like we had no money saved. We were just, you know, like everyone else, paycheck to paycheck. Until we learned how to be smarter with our money and put it towards things that matter. I mean, he's always been good about it. Like his money, he constantly reinvests into his business. Me, I was always at Target. And it was just a thing.
Damn clearance section people, I'm telling you. I get trapped in it now. They got all kind of shit in there for me now, so I'm trapped with her.
But there are resources out there to help you. And these are the things that you pay taxes for, and these are things that are in your community and that you should take advantage of. Again, that's how we got this house. You know, I remember when the loan person asked me for my bank statement. And I was like, bank statements? Like, I live paycheck to paycheck. I probably have $3 in my account right now until my next check. And with the help of her and really my family support and digging deep into how I was spending my money, we were able to make the numbers work for us. And 2 months later, we had a house, and it was empty, but we have 30 years to do what we got to do to get it.
It's staying empty now. Now we got too much stuff. That's why we having yard sales. It's women will find a coupon and fill it up. I mean, a lot of people when they come into our house, it has that vibe like we've been there for 10 years. And what has it been now, babe? 2 years. You will walk in and think we've been there forever. Especially when you go into that basement. Oh Lord. She just got too much stuff. And yo, you know it's crazy. Like, let's talk about it. Let's get nitty gritty. So, like, she's always coming to me like, you need to get rid of some of your t-shirts and jeans and da 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 da. I'm like, woman, you not only have stuff in there, you have an entire other room with shoes everywhere. Why we gotta get rid of all my shit? I don't have shit.
It's in my way.
See what I'm saying? So, like, what has been the hardest part about marriage to you?
It's a hard question. I don't think it's been that hard. I mean, and I may be not even saying that. But I mean, sometimes I don't, maybe a lot of times I don't like you. I do think that you talk a lot. And you're very loud sometimes. And guilty. I think you look stupid with those glasses on inside.
It's bright in here.
But I mean, I can't say. I mean, you do get on my nerves, and I do hold a grudge, and all of those things. But I feel like that's normal. That's normal. Yep. It's hard when we don't have enough time for each other.
Absolutely.
I'm just gonna say that it's hard when we don't.
Do you think that it's not as hard to you perception wise because of, like, you know, having two sets of married grandparents?
No, because they don't like each other a lot of the times too. And it just is. It is what it is. It just comes with the territory, I guess. I mean, you're like attached to somebody. Mm-hmm. And that's why I say, like, I was scared of COVID because I'm like, shit, like, fuck, I got to talk to him all day. Oh my God. I'm not talking to anybody else. It's you and Nyla screaming at the top of your lungs, and you don't even mean to. You're just loud. You can't hear. I don't know what the hell it is, but I'm like, can you be quiet? Can you talk a little louder? I have a headache. Like, those things you don't pay attention to sometimes.
Brandon, what's interesting is that we don't really live by that mantra. Happy wife, happy life. You know, because like that actually, to me personally, I feel like it takes us out of the equation. I think it's very important that we keep each other happy. You know what I'm saying? But I also think that people have to understand, like, life at a base is about a 5 or a 6. And when you have a 5 or 6 day, be happy. It's not a 1 or 2. And if every day was a 9 or 10, then how would you even get beyond that? You know what I'm saying?
You didn't know how to deal with the bad days if every day was a good day. I mean, trust me, he gets happy when I get mad because he's like, good, you should be, because you piss me off. And
it's true.
We'll hold a grudge and then whatever.
Yo, we are stubborn though. Like, we are two stubborn people. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll not talk to each other, but still be talking to each other. I know that sounds confusing because it's just as confusing as it sounds. Like, I'll message her and she'll be like, you're in the next room. And I'm like, I'm not talking to you. It's never going to be perfect, but love will make it work. Yeah, nothing's perfect. Like this concept of perfection is something that was made to always make us look for something when we don't appreciate what we have in front of us. It's like how I feel about like people saying, you know, they're always looking for something magical. And I'm like, bro, we're sitting here right now connected across technology. And, you know, we're both in different spaces, breathing in elements that we can't even see that keep us alive. There's probably 1,000 different things happening in our body that we have no conscious function over that keep us going. There's trillions of neurons firing off in our brains to have this conversation, to make me move my head while I'm talking, while she's scratching her nose right now. Like it's astounding if you stop for a second and appreciate the details. And that's what happened. Like I was living so fast at one point, I couldn't stop. And every time I hit the edge, I always felt like I need to jump over. But when you slow down and you're at that same very edge is where you can get a larger perspective and step back and see the bigger picture. Where you can actually, instead of thinking of the edge as the final destination, it can be the place where you actually get a viewpoint of all the things you overcame and appreciate that.
And I think some people are like afraid of marriage because you're almost afraid to like lose yourself in the other person. And we went through that too at one point. But it's just taking a step back and saying, okay, I know we used to hang out in the clubs and, you know, drink and do all of these things and go out, get dressed, have fun. But I think I flipped the switch before you. So I was like, oh, I'm kind of done with this. And then you were like, well, what do you mean? Like, this is our thing. And I was just done. And then it was like, you would go out on your own and that was fine. And I would be a nana in bed at 8:00 and I was happy with that. But I feel like that's how we knew that we were getting to that next step. Like I hit that point first, but then you also kind of hit that point. Like, okay, it's a good money maker for me, but it's also putting me in maybe some dangerous situations or whatever, because the hip hop scene has changed and all these things. And then I think at that point we knew like, okay, well, now that we're here together, doesn't matter who got there first. Now it's that next step. And that next step for us was having a baby together. Like, it's just not rushing yourself into any of those things. And we still have things that we do separately. Like, we don't do everything together. We don't like a lot of the same things. We don't. And it's
my God. Yo, listen, people. She just hit it real quick. Let's get into it. First off, I think all y'all women are psychos on the low. Like, I'm just gonna throw it out there, right? Because
I'm not denying that.
It's very interesting to me that I'm the one that's willing to kick somebody's ass all the time, but I don't watch that shit that much. Like, you sure I watch the UFC or whatever, but I'm not like watching action films all the time. Me, I tell you, like, I don't really watch TV. I kind of hate it. But this woman watches so many murder mysteries. I'm pretty sure, she's the one that convinced me, like, I'll die. I'm not even gonna fuck with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she might kill me. She might be taking notes.
And I get away with it.
Yeah, I'm about to say How to Get Away with Murder. I mean, I can name a bunch of shows. Like, now some of them I do get into. Like, we watched, I think, all of SVU. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were shows
good too.
But Jamie Lynn makes a great point here. Like, absolutely, marriage is not 50-50. It's a sliding scale. Absolutely. Sometimes you got to give more. You know what I'm saying, to your partner. So I agree with that as well. It is a give and take. My man Brandon said we do that petty shit too. Yo, let me tell you something. The petty shit don't stop. You will be married in petty. Believe me. Give and take. All about give and take. It's how much you give, how much you take, and never let somebody take too much of your soul from you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I mean, are you hearing this?
Yeah, don't be calling on my girl.
Right?
She's the perfect angel.
Facts, Criminal Minds, and all that, bro. It'd be crazy, bro. Like, bro, like she had like that Lizzie Borden shit in the DVR. Her and her mom in 2 different houses. Like the Lizzie Borden shit had showed like fucking 4 years ago. It was still in the DVR, still there, bro. Still there. If I go over to mom's house right now, it's probably still there. Now, what's interesting is that she loves watching all that murder shit, but doesn't like horror movies. Weird. She loves watching all that murder shit and hates Halloween. Weird. I don't know how that shit works. Women like to think about the details. Yeah, guys will just shoot some shit up, leaving evidence behind and shit. They're like, we know you did it. Like, damn, I left my ID. Damn. Mia gonna have an escape route, all that shit. She know how to burn the body with temperature. Shit's crazy, man. I'm always watching horror documentaries. Yeah, like Mia, she does not do horror, but she does murder. I don't get it, yo.
It's the mind. I gotta be informed. I gotta arm myself with this information just in case.
But here's how different we are. Like, and people would notice, like, I can't say I'm a true believer, but I'm obsessed with the idea of UFOs. So she'd be like, what is this ancient alien shit you're watching? So at night, like literally, she'll watch her murder stuff because I'm an owl. So she'll watch her murder stuff and then like she'll go to sleep. And if she wakes up in the middle of the night, here I'm over here trying to look for another UFO. I love alien space. I'm huge into astronomy. Like people wouldn't even understand how much of a nut I am about, space and the universe. It's obsessive to me. I love it. But I know that she thinks the same crazy stuff. Like, why is this dude watching this orb glow on TV? Like, what's up with this dude? So
you've made it very clear that if the opportunity presents itself, you will be on a spaceship to Mars.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, of course, I'm like, fuck your show.
Yeah, no. Listen, I openly admit it. If I could be a part of the first manned mission to Mars, I would totally sign up. And this is not the, say I won't miss my family or nothing like that. It's my dream. It's my dream. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally beyond music, like music just happened to be a thing that happened. And I tried it, got good at it, sold 3,000 copies of the album and was like, holy crap, I can make money doing this. And then I was good at finessing myself into different rooms, like, holy crap. But like, I really, really, really love space. I did watch the rocket launch. I absolutely watched the rocket launch. It was fantastic. I'm obsessed, man. I'm absolutely obsessed with space. I don't know if the UFOs are real or not. I would never say something's real if I didn't witness it or test it myself. But I'm obsessed with it. I love the idea of it. You know what I mean? I love the idea that if we were, I think it was JFK who gave a speech, or it was one of the presidents who gave a speech about like, if we had an extraterrestrial, I think it might've been Reagan actually, if we had an extraterrestrial presence that came from somewhere else, will we stop all of our problems? Honestly, I think the answer is no. I think some of us sell other humans. But it's an interesting thing and a dynamic for me to think about. And it's just interesting how different our tastes are. So you can't necessarily always think that the person you're going to be with must have the same taste. Or I actually think that because we're so different, it keeps it interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like we can go out and do things and we can go out to a place and enjoy two entirely different aspects of where we were. Mm-hmm. And then have a conversation about it. So, yeah, I definitely think there's another Earth somewhere. They've already discovered a few in the Goldilocks zones of different galaxies. As the technology gets better, we keep finding more and more stuff. There's one that's like 10 times the size of Earth with 3 times the gravity. Pretty interesting stuff. But don't get me down that rabbit hole. I'm gonna have to make a Cosmos show next, I guess.
I'm like,
and not the magazine. So it's our taste and likes are different, but we learned to like make them complement each other, or like she'll try things that, like, example, food. Like food was a hard one. She like, I still won't try certain things. I'm like, kachu what? Nah, I'm from Boston. I didn't know nothing about no kachupa, manchupa, whatever. I didn't know nothing about it. And I still don't.
He's lived in New Bedford for 10 years and does not eat linguiça.
This is why they don't like me. Don't tell them that. That's why they don't like me out here.
I gotta go to my mother's house and sneak it. She sneaks it over here. Like, it's ridiculous.
Linguiça's not.
That's a New England staple.
Nah, linguiça's not my thing, people. It's not my thing. I tried it on pizza. My stomach flips. I don't know, man. Everything, I mean, that's definitely, yeah, I love y'all. I'm not mad at y'all for eating it. You know what I'm saying? Like, have at it. You know what I'm saying? I'm West Indian. I grew up on curry. I'll eat curry every single day if I can. Mia knows that. I love curry, everything, oxtail, goat, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Curry's my thing. My block didn't have a variety. You know what I mean? My block definitely didn't have the variety of having cachupa and stuff. And honestly, like I didn't even know. I'm gonna be real. Like I didn't even know what Cape Verdean was until I was about a teenager, because I never met a Cape Verdean until I was about a teenager. It was a different time in the era that I grew up in. I'm 35 now, and to be honest with you, like most of my neighborhood was literally black and Latino. That's it, and it was dangerous to leave certain areas. So for Roxbury to be so diverse now and have so many CV people, it's crazy. Yeah, but when I was growing up, all I knew was Portuguese. Junior, I didn't meet any Cape Verdeans, or they never told me, and I just assumed that they was black. To be honest, we grew up in an age where, and no disrespect to Haitians, but remember when people was picking on Haitians? Like it was crazy. Like saying people was Haitian was like an insult. Now it's the most beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? These are for lack. I'm not even saying for lack of them. These white girls chase these Haitian dudes, like they chasing them down. Curry chick. I'm telling you, man, that curry. If you've never had roti, because there's a lot of people out here now. The same way I never had cachupa, machupa, whatever you call it. They say there's different kinds. There's a whole argument about it. A lot of people out here have never had roti. You know what I mean? Never had roti. And if you've never had roti, I suggest you try it with some chickpeas, man, some potatoes, some curry, and that wrap. Oh Lord, even Mia likes it now. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do this cachupa machupa thing soon, man. I don't like corn, so I have a huge thing with I hate corn. So as long
There's
as
no corn in it.
I saw one with corn in it. Yeah, Phil's Corner is all CV now, but I promise you, when I was younger, it wasn't. Or nobody told me. Nobody told me I'm from Mattapan. We ain't far from that. I knew CV. I didn't know nobody, bro. Like I guess people wasn't telling me. I was trapped on my block too. Phil's Corner was dangerous for me, so I went there when I absolutely had to and didn't stay long. It was dangerous. You know how it is in Boston. Everything's street for street. It ain't like the short is Bloods and Crips, but everything still is street to street. You know what I mean? So Haitians took over Mattapan. On God, they took over Hyde Park, all of that. They took over, bro. And they out there with their flags heavy. I remember when the Caribbean Festival didn't have many of them. Now they're all over the place, and I love it. I love it. Represent your people. Machupa, I'm dead. I heard there's an argument about whether or not it's Cachupa. See, look, they're arguing now. Cachupa. Shout out to my Zoes. Y'all already know what time it is. Oh. You blinds, Phil Corner was all CV. Bro, I promise you, when I went up there, I was too worried about the gangster shit. I didn't pay attention. I didn't. Yeah, it's like that. So, a lot of different dynamics. You know what I mean? Like I learned a lot. My cuisine changed. How I eat changed. I was so happy when she learned how to cook curry. She didn't have confidence in cooking curry in the beginning, and now literally I will not eat anybody else's curry. She makes it perfect to my liking.
It's because I never had it. I didn't know what it was supposed to taste like. So it was definitely a new experience for me.
Yeah, the first time I met some CV kids is when I went to Madison. Yeah, when I went to Madison, I met some CV kids there, and that was the first time. I didn't know what Cape Verde was. I was ignorant. I'm very honest. I was ignorant as hell. I was just a hood booger. And I knew my surroundings to stay alive. That's all I knew. There was people around me I didn't even know was CV till it came out years later. I was like, you didn't tell me nothing, bro. You didn't tell me nothing. We was just hood boogers. So back into the relationship side. So what is something, if there was one thing you could change about me, what would you change?
The volume of your voice.
I knew that. I knew it. If there was two things you can change, what would be the second thing?
Putting things where they go instead of right by where it's supposed to go. Like
Guilty.
The laundry basket's right there next to the floor where you left your clothes. The dishwasher is empty. You could have put your dishes in there instead of in the sink.
Damn.
When you come, make a mess when you see them cleaning.
Hey, I said two. God damn it! Nah, keep going.
Those kind of things. But it is the little things. I do like when you do stuff like make the bed, and I'm like, because I never make the bed, and I'm like, oh, this looks great. I'm about to lay down and tear this bed up. Come on, Nyla, we snuggling, girl. But it looks beautiful. But yeah, it really is the little things. I mean, the big stuff is great too, but it's the little day-to-day things that I think are important.
On dogs, yo, Jonathan, she definitely got at least 47 left. You know, it's funny. Like, I don't have much to complain about. She doesn't say sorry. That's the biggest thing. Like, if she's wrong, she won't say sorry. Other than that, or like I said, you know, making sure that you know, every now and then, pat your man on the back. Let him know he's doing his thing. Right thing is the king. You know what I'm saying? Like, let him know. You know what I mean? We here. But other than that, like, I don't really got too much.
Make a sticker chart. I wrote that down.
Yeah, let me think. Let me think about it.
Go ahead. Let me put my halo on. Go ahead.
She's a jealous type.
Oh, wow. That's normal. That's normal.
She's the super jealous type. And I know this is okay. We're here. We're having a conversation. And sometimes the people that she says, I be like, nigga, have you looked in the mirror? Like, why would I do that? Why would I do that? Like, roundabout, just like, everybody's beautiful in their own way, but people have their preferences too. And sometimes I be like, why do you insult my boy like that? Like, don't insult my boy like that.
Sometimes it's not about you. Some people just have cruel intentions, and that is a fact.
13 Reasons by Mia. For real. Because you know how she accepts and loves. Yeah, facts. So like
some people have cruel intentions, and I need to be aware of that.
Her jealousy.
Sometimes you don't notice.
Yo, you know it's crazy. Like, so like it's weird to me, right? Because like she'll just like, I don't know where the hell she gets some of that jealousy sometimes. And then sometimes I'll warn her, I'll be like, yo, this one just said some funny shit. And she never believed me. I'm like, why if I tell you, you don't believe me?
I gotta see it with my own eyes.
She's like, no, she didn't. Babe, I'm telling you. She touched me. Tell her go away right now. Let me see. It's because let me see. Go ahead. Say it. She's mean. Nah, she can be. But I've dealt with meaner. I'd rather her be a little mean to me than I was doing some shit. People was throwing plates, all kind of shit. We was having straight up WWE matches in my previous relationships. I'm not shy about it. Shit was going down. It's probably the intentions of other women. Yeah, I feel that. I never see it. I never see it myself. But I feel that. I def feel that. You know what it is though? Cause like,
and you hate to think that way. As a woman, you do hate to think that way about another woman. I do. It makes me feel guilty because I wish the best for everyone. But it's definitely a thing, and you can't be naive about it.
You know what's interesting to me is that I think it's mad interesting that, like, first off, a lot of these women that do be acting kind of funny, I don't think are actually attracted to me. I think they're attracted to how I treat her. Does that make any sense? Mm-hmm. So like, because again, like I'm gap tooth smile, bald head, you know what I'm saying? Like short, little stocky, something, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I got a little swag to me that you feel like that aura. So like some people are into that aura, but I think more than anything, like the girls that be trying sometimes are just, they never seen somebody so, I've heard it before. Like they never seen nobody praise their woman like I do publicly and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yo, that's just who I am. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't always like that. I did the opposite. So I decided to flip the script. So yeah, definitely. What would he say? But we don't look their way because we are faithful black men. On God, black men are faithful. Tell them, dog. Mm-hmm. Tell them, dog. Faithful black men. You feel me? See that?
That's what I don't get. That's why, not to say that I don't believe you, but when you tell me these things, I'm just like, well, I know you handled it. So.
Oh, listen.
I need to call out the things that you're oblivious to.
Yeah, Mia has definitely seen me tag females like, yo, get off my page. You know what I'm saying? Like tag them, get out of here. But then I stopped doing that as a practice because I felt like it was kind of too much. And now one time, I remember it wasn't recent, but it was like, you know, a little while ago, she's like, you used to tag them. I'm like, yo, I grew up. That wasn't nice.
Sometimes I don't care.
Nah, facts. What's interesting to me too, though, is that when I notice certain things, we're being honest here. Like sometimes it's been some of her family members, you know, that dynamic of like a bunch of girls in the family. I'm like, what did she just say to me? I'm like, Mia, get your cousin. You know what I'm saying? She's like, and she kind of just brushes it off. Again, I think because she understands that I acknowledged it, you know, that's a good thing. But But let me tell you this one, it gets a little crazy because sometimes I'll tell her I'm the one that told her. She still gets mad at me. Like, what the fuck? Like, what? I told you. I'm the one that came to you. I'm like, where did you hear this from? You. I'm like, all right, so why are you mad at me? I'm telling you, this motherfucker's crazy. But I understand processing that information, man. I've learned to really like be smart about how we deal with that kind of stuff. But I want y'all to understand.
That's just something that, like, if it ever became more than what it was, then you have to live with that. I have to live with that. Like, we don't have any type of control over each other. Like, that was a choice that you made. We're all adults here.
Yeah, I ain't with the shits though. Like, I promise y'all. Like, I feel like I feel like, you know, something
gross. Cheating, people that cheat. I think, and I'm not saying that I never cheated on anybody. I'm not saying that I never got cheated on. But as you grow up and the world is developing and there's all of these things out there that you like, it's gross. It grosses me out.
And here's the thing, right? Because like, so people got to be honest, right? So like, you know, sometimes, okay, so like one thing that Mia probably appreciates and doesn't appreciate sometimes is I'm not the type of guy to always just say something looks good. So if she asks me sometimes, I'm like, nah, I like the other dress. It took a while for her to adjust to that because a lot of women have been trained to be like, you just better tell me everything always looked good. I'm not saying it didn't look good. I'm saying I like the other dress. You understand what I'm saying? And we got to that point where that communication was well, and it's the same vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you like this? Like, she don't like these glasses on right now. I'm still gonna wear these glasses. If I don't like the dress, I'd be like, I like the other dress. She can still wear that dress. That's still my buttons underneath there. Like, it's all good. So it is what it is. So we got to be able to like not expect everybody to just tell us what we want to hear. We got to, you know, be able to deal with the hard truths too. I'll give you an example. She's told me plenty of things that I needed to change. You understand what I'm saying? Just flat out bluntly. And the hardest thing for sometimes for people to hear is things that you already knew you needed to change, but it's different when it comes from someone else. And I got to a point where I was like, she's only saying this shit to my benefit, to our benefit. So why fight it? You know what I'm saying? I can't change being loud because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I really can't hear. Like, that's really what it is. Like, I've been doing all these clubs and stuff for so long. Like, I can't hear. I was standing next to speakers and shit. So if I can't, it's almost like I'm shouting to hear my own voice. And I just project. I've always been like this. I've been a loud dude my whole life. But it got worse as I'm getting older. I'm definitely gonna be an old dude that's gonna be hella loud. That old grandpa that's gonna be hella like, hey, you know what I mean? So this is what it is. But what is your favorite thing about me?
Oh, come on. That's even harder. You make my life so easy. Like, I don't have to worry about nothing. Nothing. I don't worry about anything.
I hear you, Junior.
Shut up, Junior.
Junior, I need a hearing aid, bro. Like, I'm telling you, I promise you, I'm deaf. More on one side than the other. I'm sure if I got tested right now, they'd tell me something's off. Because like even when I listen to music and stuff, the volume's never loud enough for me. Ever. I need that shit to the max. I literally get apps to put on my phone to make it louder. So it's
so bad that Nyla's used to it. She can follow, like in that car parade we were in the other day.
Out like a light.
Music was blasting, horns honking, and both of us were screaming, and she was like snoring in the back seat because she's so used to your mouth.
Hey man, she can sleep through the war. You know what I'm saying? It's all good.
Ridiculous.
My favorite thing about you is your heart, and it has nothing to do with me. I like how you treat other people. It's not even about, huh?
I said I'm so nice.
No, you are. You're really nice to other people. She's mean to us guys. Like, she's been mean to me and Junior and shit like that. But when it comes to, but she's always just joking around with us. Really, at the end of the day, she's mad because she has all the different scenarios in it. Yo, these motherfuckers will come up 51 different scenarios, bro. You know it. That's why he speaks loud with me.
4.
I think it's important to talk about how hard it was to be with someone who already had kids, especially two different kids' mothers. You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you? What made you believe in me?
I mean, I thought you were gross in the beginning, especially having two people pregnant at the same time. But seeing how much you fight for them and how much you feel for them, like, again, I knew that I just have nothing to worry about, and that I like that. I like that I have a nice, easy, comfy life.
Yeah, because I could say, like, when I say you're lucky, it's not lucky to have me. Lucky as far as the timing and me gaining the perspective I needed to grow. That's why I don't want to say I don't regret anything. I do regret some of the things that I've done to people and people that I've affected and the stuff from the streets. But at the same time, I had to go through those things to get here. I'm happy with who I am now. You know what I'm saying? And the thing that probably bothers me the most is how many people don't seem to be happy with me being happy with who I am. That's probably the hardest thing for me to deal with in our marriage and everything sometimes, because it's just like, it's weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never was critiqued as much when I was in the streets as I am now. And it's hard to navigate sometimes. And sometimes I feel like,
are you okay?
Sometimes I feel like our relationship is our marriage and relationship is harder on me sometimes because I get judged so much. You know what I'm saying? As the male in the relationship, people know you for being you, but like, and I think for a lot of people, because I remember when people I used to say to you, like, how are you with this guy?
Let me kiss her.
Like, how are you with this guy who never smiles? Like, he never smiles. You know what I'm saying? And I learned to smile around you. You know what I'm saying? If anybody on here ever goes to my pictures prior to me being around Mia, it was all the Boston mean mug. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was hard to walk these streets. You know what I'm saying? And smiling was a form of weakness. I smile a lot more now, but if it's funny because like when you see me in my angry face, it seems so much more natural. It really does. It's like, damn, he got the crazy scowl. That's after years and years and years of practice of being the scowler. Now, facts, Brandon, I'm learning. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning because I have people like you, your brother, your mom, who I met now, your family who do appreciate me being in the area and doing what I'm doing. But man, sometimes, man, people are just so judgmental, and I think it's because it's like, how did this guy who, I think the fact that I'm so willing to admit my faults really pisses people off, and I just don't get it because I thought that was something we were supposed to do in life. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard. It is hard being your husband because people think so highly of you. But I embrace the challenge because I think so highly of you.
Such a mush.
That's real talk right there. That's real talk. The change you encountered in the change that's all men and women in the streets need. Nah, facts. Like, bro, the streets is dead. If it ain't dead, it's on life support. We live in an age where, you know, if the streets are to the point where people are incriminating themselves for clout, it's dead, bro. Like, it's time to unplug, man, from the matrix and get back to some real reasonable sensibility about life and legacy and how we're really gonna get ahead in our lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, and unfortunately, you got people like 6ix9ine who's out here teaching these kids that they can get ahead being fugazi. You know what I mean? So it's tough. All right, Amy, cut it out, god damn it. This shit just comes natural, damn it. Don't do that to me. So y'all got look, I'm too light skinned still. I'll start blushing and shit.
He's such a mush. He's like way more of a mush than me.
I'll give her that. She used to be real good at the thoughtful gifts. She's still good at the thoughtful gifts, but then I started to learn her game and I mastered it, son. So it's almost like I think the things that we compete at is who's gonna love who more. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
definitely gift giving is a thing.
We definitely compete with who's gonna love who more. It's not even so much about the price. Like, if y'all noticed recently, you know, my birthday came around and I pissed her off because I was going through my own emotions. I said some whack shit like, oh, I just had a tent and all this other shit. That's because I was upset. I was going through my own stuff. But you know, at the end of the day, I told her that. But she did a beautiful display of thoughtfulness by putting together a nice setup for me for my birthday. I've been going through some emotional stuff since losing my mom. I've been trying to navigate that feeling.
Okay.
It's such a difficult relationship.
Yeah.
And I almost feel guilty being happy sometimes again after losing my mom. So I just have a hard time navigating a lot of that stuff. When Mother's Day comes around, all of that stuff, it's hard for me. My birthday comes around. It was my first birthday without my mom. It was hard, you know what I'm saying? But then, in the inverse, her birthday being in May, I'm not the greatest cook. You know what I'm saying? Like I could try to cook stuff that she likes, but I do remember little things that she loves. And I went out to her favorite restaurant and got her, well, not her favorite restaurant, but what a restaurant that serves her favorite dish. Picked that up and set up a nice dinner. So we're very creative. I think being a creative lover is very important versus being a monetary lover. I think if you train your spouse or your significant other, whatever your significant other is, to only be trained in taking trinkets from you or valuables from you, that it can almost become you can become numb to it. It's just nothing. I got another purse. I got another pair of Jordans. I got another hat. You know what I'm saying? I take my time, and I think she notices that too. Like I always try to take my time I'll get you a card, but I'm gonna write in that card. We still, I think, we still write letters every now and then if we have to. If we're not gonna do a card. It's just important. It's the little things. It might seem cheesy, but that shit matters. What restaurant is that? Oh, it was Inner Bay. She loves Portuguese steak, which again is something else that was new to me moving out here. I was a hood booger, y'all. Like I didn't leave the block. I'm telling y'all. So when I found out like steak with eggs and all this other stuff, I was like, all right, cool. I was like, steak and eggs, what the hell is this? But then after I had it, it was slamming. I love it. So we eat that together. But then as much as I was a hood booger, she thinks I'm crazy because I love calamari. Oh, the joys of calamari. Some good calamari.
I thought you were gonna say chicken gizzards or goat.
Nah, don't get me started. Don't tell them about the chicken gizzards. They're gonna know I'm super hood if you tell them about the chicken gizzards. Damn, son. The chicken gizzards with the Sazone, salt, and pepper. Shh. Okay? All right? Don't tell them about that, man. They can't be knowing all that. Well, half of them are probably like, what the fuck is a chicken gizzard? On guard, Amy, with some hot sauce. Oh, she's talking about the steak. Yeah, I eat the chicken.
Yeah.
Hot sauce.
Back to us. Back to the real world. Back to the good stuff.
I don't eat ramen no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's funny because some of my friends was like, yo, you're bougie now. And I was like, you're kind of right, because I eat grown-up Lunchables. You know what a grown-up Lunchable is? I be eating them good crackers with the cheese. Get yourself a little Kobe Jack, you know what I'm saying? With some turkey pepperoni, you know what I'm saying? I got a whole big ass bag of turkey pepperoni and some cheese in the crib waiting for me now. We went shopping. I forgot that we didn't get crackers. And damn, I just talked about it. And now I feel like going to get some crackers. But anyway.
We have some here.
My palate's changed. That's all. My palate's changed. As long as it's not. Oh, hell no. I never like chitlins. If I can't eat nothing that smell crazy, you know what I'm saying? Even pig feet, I was like, damn, son, I'm not eating this shit. Like, that's a straight toe. I'm not eating this shit. So thank goodness for that. Definitely ain't eating no goddamn chitlins. Even the chicken gizzards, man, like, I feel like that was me just trying to hold on to something. I haven't been eating them as much lately, you know what I'm saying? They're mad inexpensive, so when I go there, I just grab it sometimes on a whim. I do like how they taste when you cook them just right. Like, it's just like a crispy snack, but I'm kind of over them shits too, you know what I'm saying? Especially since I've been like getting my mind and body right. I think my vice is now, since I lived on the South Coast, I've definitely become a coffee head, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's bad. I got to have a cup of Dunks. But we don't do Dunks. We kind of like shout out to the epidemic. I mean, shout out to the pandemic, because we've been on some buying some iced coffee ourselves now, so I don't even like going to get Dunks now because they put too much cream and everything in it. You know what I'm saying? Even the honeydew, they overdo. I don't know what it is about the East Coast, but we overdo the hell out of cream, son.
Cream and sugar.
Yeah, cream and sugar is crazy. Like, I can feel the diabetes hitting me every time I drink a Dunks now. You know what I mean? But recently, because we've been moving around so much, we have been grabbing a couple of frozen coffees. But even like, I used to be able to finish a large easy. I'm not really banging those down like I used to no more. Takes me all day to drink a large. What else, man? What else we got going on? So, like, what's your favorite part of motherhood right now and marriage? You know what I'm saying? Like,
motherhood in general or motherhood in marriage?
In marriage.
It's easy, because you're such a good dad. I mean, and if I could just convince my mom to take over the potty training, piece of cake. Done. But yeah. I mean, the worst part is that we co-sleep. I co-sleep with Nyla. So we miss you a lot. I know we kick you out of the bed and it's uncomfortable. So I'll say that's the worst part. But yeah, the fact that you're such a good dad makes it so easy.
Y'all have no idea what my nighttime is like. First off, I don't sleep much as is. I think that after knowing me for as long as me has known me, she actually should be pretty impressed with the fact of the amount of shit I'm able to do on such a little amount of sleep, which is insane.
I don't have any more lipstick.
But they have completely taken over the bed. There is no daddy in bed now. Like I literally, she gets upset. She definitely gets upset when I sleep downstairs. But we recently discovered through communication what really gets her upset is when I say I'll be in the bed in a little bit. And then I end up downstairs. You know what I'm saying? I sleep in the living room a lot, and not because I'm in the doghouse, because Nyla is wild, and I get foots and kicks in the head. She takes all the sheets. She's not getting out of our bed. And what's kind of interesting is because me as a working mom, that's the bond that they share. Bedtime is what they share a lot. And
I won't budge on it. And I know it's frustrating a lot of times. Because I mean, we spent 10 years, just the two of us. But it is that's our, like, sometimes, some days, that's our only time together. Is snuggling up, putting on a show, and falling asleep. And, you know, she's getting testy right now because it's bedtime. And she's like, all right, let's do this. We got our little routine down. We read together and talk to each other. And that's just our time. Sometimes I don't have the headspace to give her the attention that she deserves during the day. And, you know, work-life balance is really hard sometimes. And it's not just work-life balance. It's work, it's life, it's family, it's community. But all of those things are equally important to us. So sometimes it's hard to prioritize. I think we finally got to a place where it's like, okay, this is mommy daddy time. This is mommy Nyla time. This is daddy Nyla time. And then, you know, when the three of us can do something together, which isn't as often as we'd like, but we make those moments really special and memorable. And again, it's not easy. It's not ideal a lot of times either. But when you see the bigger picture and you know that what you're doing is for the greater good, like you make those sacrifices and hope that your family understands and hope that you have the support of the people around you.
Yeah, I could say that we are blessed to have a lot of support around us.
Like my mom be killing it.
Yeah,
She's
that's a fact.
Always like, and a lot of times, you know, I go through this a lot where I feel like guilty. Like I don't want to. I know some people who will drop their kids off with their parents, grandparents, every chance they get.
Mm-hmm.
And once I have two kids, that may be me. Right now it's not, but two kids is a different ball game, and I get that, and I'm totally unprepared for what that's going to look like for me. I'm nervous about that part of it. But my mom's like always willing to take her. My grandparents always drop her off, but it's like, well, I'll miss her. And it's like, well, what are you doing? And sometimes I'm home and I'm getting so frustrated because it's like, oh my God, I just need 1 hour of uninterrupted time I could get so much done if she would stop talking, because she's like her father. She talks a lot all the time, and she's very affectionate because we're affectionate to each other. So she's always has to be touching you, sitting on you. Now I have this huge belly in the way, so it's like hard for her to get comfortable, but it's still hard for me to let go because I struggle with mom guilt a lot. I know a lot of women struggle with like postpartum depression and all of those things. My thing is total mom guilt all the time.
So what's your biggest fear since being married? Like, yeah, basically just what's your biggest fear of being married?
I don't know. I don't have one yet. I think we don't have enough skin in the game.
So, and I can understand that perspective from you. Hold on one second.
You're a lot older than me, so
come on, chill, bro. Here's the thing, right? I was able to live a lifestyle of like I don't give a fuckness, to be frank, because I didn't have much growing up. And now I have more fears than I ever had. I was fearless, completely fearless before you. And now that we have a home, the only thing I ever feared before you was the loss of a child, period. The more things that we attain, the more relationships that we build, the more bonds that we, create, the more, responsibility that we have in the community. As a person who came from nothing, it frightens me some days. I get anxiety. I really do. I truly get anxiety with the idea of ever fucking any of this up, to be frank. But I also respect that anxiety. At first, it used to drive me crazy and used to make me want to run. But I respect the anxiety so much because it makes me understand why I'm here. It kind of did a reverse. When we first got married, I was concerned on whether or not it was going to be temporary. You know what I'm saying? And things in life can change. You know what I'm saying? But I think the most that I can do to control that fear is just put in the best work that I can to make sure that I'm never taking advantage of the situation, or I'm never letting the situation take advantage of me. But I have way more fears in my life now than I've ever had. Just having so much in my life now.
But I think I'm a firm believer in karma, good and bad. I think that things that happen to you or that you attain, you deserve, good or bad. And I think it's always important to remember, like a lot of older people say this to us all the time. No one ever says, he's too good for you. She's too good for you. You deserve her. You deserve him. No, you deserve each other. And you get what you give. And I totally believe that. Like, legit believe heavily in karma, good or bad. Even when we talked about when we first met, and I feel like you broke my heart, and it took me a long time to get over it. But I mean, hello, I was also in a relationship when I met you, and I'm pretty sure I broke that person's heart and didn't give a fuck. So that's what I get.
Yeah, it happens. See, that's the thing too. So like, let's talk about this, because like, I think that a lot of people get the misconception that everything we have in some way or another has been handed to us. I don't think people understand the amount of hard work that's gone into not just our personal selves, but the time that we put into the community, how many years we went in this community without making a single dime. Honestly, like, this art is everywhere. In the last 2 years is the first time that we've gained enough funds to be able to be compensated for our time. We put a lot of sweat equity into this community, and definitely my wife way longer, because she's been a lifelong third eyer. You know what I'm saying? So like, sometimes I can't discern. I have a hard time discerning people having jealousy, and they want to marginalize. They try to marginalize us, which is weird because it's our people. And I never was used to that. I guess when I was in the hood, like, you have somebody jealous of some J's, or jealous of the whip that you rented or some shit, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But it's different when it's like you feel some kind of way because I got married. You feel some kind of way because I'm loyal. You feel some kind of way because I take care of my wife. I love my daughter. You feel some kind of way because I stopped being homophobic. You feel some kind of way because we bought a home. Like you feel some kind of way. Like I don't be getting it, and that's.
I think that people just don't know. Like one thing that is, when we decided to apply for this house, before we put our names in the hat, we sent it to a lot of our friends.
Everybody.
Like we had no intention. Well, I won't say we. I had no intention of buying a house. Was not a goal for me. Because I was very comfortable where my mother has a 2-family and I live downstairs from her, and she and I are extremely close. So I thought that this was going to be like this forever. And I was fine with that. I was very content, complacent. So when we saw this particular house, and a lot of people know where we live, it's, I sent it to a lot of my friends like, oh my God, there's this program that just came into the city. You can get this house, and no one did anything about it. So months went by. You want some eggs? Okay, hold on. So months went by and the house was still available. So it's like, why not try? I had to eliminate that fear from myself, and I didn't trust myself enough to take something like that on. But here we are 2 years later. And again, anything could happen in the future, but I mean, we're here right now and we're embracing it.
Yeah.
But I always tell people like the best way to embrace and build your village is to really be involved in your community, whatever capacity that looks like for you. Not everyone can do the same thing, just like with these protests that are happening. Like not everyone can be outside, not everyone can be on the ground, but there are a lot of different things that you can do to just be helpful and be a part of and get to know different people and put yourself in rooms that you normally wouldn't be in, and having the confidence to do so, and learning from these people, and they're learning from you as well. It's a two-way street all the time.
And it's like, so for me, right? Because like, you met me as a businessman. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't think I get territorial or emotional about the fact that if anybody thinks anything's ever been handed to me. I fought tooth and nail for every single thing I have. Do I have white allies? Absolutely. Do I have white mentors? Absolutely. Do I have people of color that are allies? Absolutely. Do I have people of color that are mentors? Absolutely. But nobody handed us shit. And I need people to understand that. Like, did we have family like our grandparents that when we needed a little bit more money because they changed how much money we had to put down on the house, that stepped up and said they was going to help pay for that? Absolutely. That's what family's supposed to do. I get at first I don't like taking things from people. You understand what I'm saying? Like I have a chip on my shoulder about that. And that's why, because the moment you do, people try to marginalize everything about you. But there's not a goddamn thing that me and my wife have, our home, whatever, that we didn't work hard for, or that we didn't try to bless other people with these opportunities. Mm-hmm. I'm old, bro. Like, well, old in the sense of like how I feel is where I'm at in life. I'm 35. I don't necessarily want to be the one out here talking to these kids. That's why I'm happy that this is going on the way it is, and these kids, these new leaders are showing up. I learned to literally start living by to each its own. We're a married hetero couple, but I don't judge anybody's choices to do whatever they want to do. Period. You understand what I'm saying? It's crazy as we get older, the more that we understand people and all these paradigms and these situations that we're doing. So it's just tough. But I want people to understand that we have to start focusing on what we're doing in our lives and stop focusing on everybody else's life, man. Because if you keep spectating everybody else's life, that's where that resentment and shit grows from. And the longer you're watching, the less you're doing. Mm-hmm. If there's one thing you can't say about us is that we're always doing something, always. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's a nonstop process of keep doing something. And the moment that you quit doing and you stop doing to start talking, you're taking away from yourself. You're wasting your time. I'm not about to be out here and treating every single white person that works for an organization out here like they're racist. That's just not even statistically right. Now, does that mean that some of the people that are in these positions never were allowed the space to have a conversation to understand that maybe strategically there's a different way to approach it for our people? Yes. This is all about education. It's all about educating each other. But we have to learn how to have that context, and we gotta. I feel it's so crazy to me that even though my black flag was taken off my business, that's cool. That's one idiot. But I get maligned by people that look like me more often than not. And that's a problem. That's a problem. I've never been a hater in my life. Like you ask anybody, you don't never hear me about hating on nobody. You know what I do? If I see somebody in a better position than me, I say, how, Sway? How? Teach me, show me. And that's the other thing. If you stop trying to focus on thinking that we're perfect, we're gonna give you the nitty-gritty and tell you this shit is not easy. And then we're gonna drop the jewels that we feel like you need to get the way you want to be in life.
Yes, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Because ultimately, as a couple, we hope that we're at minimum setting a good example, being a good example, not just setting it, being it, actually being it. That is really, really important to us. We put that above anything else, which is why honesty is so important. Integrity is very important to us.
Morals.
And again, building up a village. I mean, I know I need help a lot of times. I ask for a lot of help. I'm a very needy person when it comes to things, especially when I don't have the confidence in myself to think that I can do something, or I may be a little nervous to try something new or insecure about something. Like I'm always reaching out, like, who can do this? Who can help me do that? Who can teach me this? Who can teach me that? Like, you know, and just being involved in your community. Think about things that are really important to you, and just do what you can with what you have. Like, not everyone can go to college. Not everyone can, you know, do all of these things that sometimes we were set to have these expectations for. And sometimes setting those expectations are just setting you up for failure, because those things just don't work for everyone. But just knowing that you can open a business in your community. Ask me how, I'll help you. You can start a program in your city. Ask me how, I'll help you. You can create all of these opportunities for other people, just to give them that support that they may not get at home or from someone else or things like that. That's one thing that we've learned along the way, and we try really, really hard to give back, because a lot of people gave to us, and we weren't afraid to embrace that when the time came.
Yeah, it's and then like the thing is too is because once you get into this seat, it's like it's hard to be judged so much, you know what I'm saying, without people even trying to have the conversation to know. Like a lot of people just assume, and they never ask a question, and then you find like all these presumptions later on when you hear like the little rumor mills and stuff. And it's crazy to me because it's like, first off, you know, adults need to have conversations. If you're out here assuming or presuming things and not actually speaking with people to understand, then you're not mature enough to really enjoy progress. Because progress is all about creating a dialogue. We're gonna change things out here. You know what I mean? Period. And we are changing things, and we continuing to strive to change things. It's tireless. It's not easy. You know, balancing. It's hard enough when people are just balancing regular jobs, day jobs, whatever, in their relationships. But we're balancing our village, because we understand that the stronger our village is, the better a future our children have. So we're not going to stop doing what we're doing. And we're trying to have these conversations on these platforms so that people can actually pick our brains instead of making presumptions or understanding and seeing that, we have plenty of things that annoy each other. We'll be getting into way more deeper dives. You know what I'm saying? Like, I actually wanted to save the instance where I broke her heart. I broke her heart in the beginning. We was in the dating phase and I didn't see it as serious as she saw it. And we'll get into that. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we're going to have a conversation between ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that she's prepared for that. And I think she is. You know what I mean? I mean, we're married, obviously, and everything now. But it was a tough moment. It was the toughest moment of our lives. And the details, you would think I'm a piece of shit for sure. And I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was. But the key word is was. Not now. You know what I'm saying? And people have to be okay with being able to grow and change. You can't get trapped in what was so long that you can't see what can be. You know what I mean? And I think that's the lesson and the moral of the story for today's episode. I appreciate everybody tuning in to Hers and His, man. We're gonna keep doing this every Wednesday. We really appreciate it. It's been a great time. As you can see, my daughter has hit the point where it's game time. It's over.
Hold on. I gotta pan to her because I don't usually wear makeup, but today I put lipstick on. So she's sitting
my baby
with 6 layers of lipstick on.
Oh my goodness. She looks like Spider-Man right now.
Nyla, look at daddy.
Hi.
Say hi, boo.
What is that on your face?
Say I got lipstick.
What you got on your face? Crazy. That kid is crazy.
that dress is probably a done deal, but again, that's a sacrifice that we made so we could have this time together. She sat there and wasted 6 tubes of lipstick that I'll never get back.
For real. Kid's crazy. And that's the thing too, like parenting is sometimes you can over parent, man. You gotta let your kids have some fun, make a mess sometimes, man, as long as they're safe.
I don't love that she's on the tablet right now eating a donut for dinner and putting on lipstick, but again, it's just, this is mommy daddy time and she can do her own thing. And I'm excited for her to have a sibling in-house. She has 4 brothers that are a lot older than her. 3 brothers. She's the 4th one that are a lot older than her. So I'm excited for her to have someone close in age and living in the same house as her. Me and my siblings and I, except for one, grew up in different households. So it's always fun getting together. And it's exciting for her too. But to have someone in-house I'm assuming that it's going to make my life easier sometimes, but I've heard about these girl cat fights. And I mean, I know how me and my sister were sometimes. But we love each other now and we're really close. So I'm hoping the same thing.
That's a fact, Amy. You win some, you lose some. That's how I feel with my daughter. Listen, daughters are a different animal, and I'm glad that I got myself together before having a daughter. Because now, like,
do you need a charger?
We can show her good practices of what healthy love looks like. Not perfect love, healthy love. You know what I'm saying? It's about keeping a healthy dialogue, a healthy relationship, allowing people to have moments, allowing people to go through things. Again, so, I don't want to hold everybody up. I want to stress again, we are people that work in the community. Myself, I'm a complete entrepreneur. So everything I do is off the grit, from having this business space downtown at 246 Union Street to producing music, to photography, to the community work. It's all entrepreneurial. So I can always use the support from the community, especially in a time where people are actually starting to acknowledge helping positive Black businesses. You know what I'm saying? So if you see or heard anything you like, enjoyed something, learned something new, had a different perspective today, and you find it in your heart, by all means, this is straight from the muscle. We do this straight, from my creative mind and put it out here for the universe. So if you find it in your heart, you want to donate, you can always send a CashApp. The Dinnerclubpod right there is on the screen. Again, we greatly appreciate everybody. We greatly appreciate all the stuff going on. Before we get out of here, I want to let you guys know what's going on tomorrow. So usually we only do Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, but we are having a special broadcast tomorrow to talk more about what's going on. We want to thank the Queer Arts Council because they decided that they didn't want to, it's Pride Month. So it was a hard decision for them to decide with things going on right now to cancel their events and provide us the opportunity to represent a platform that's going to talk about all the stuff that's going on in the community. So one of the things that's going on tomorrow from 6 to 10 is the Road to Recovery. We're going to have a special broadcast, Road to Recovery Vaha. It's going to be virtual from 6 to 10 p.m. We're going to have some of the young protesters and leaders from the community come on, some incredible young women come on and talk about what the experience has been like, the ebbs and flows, learning how to navigate that space. We also, at 6:30, we'll have the Queer Arts Council come on and just talk about the plight of trans and queer women of color. If you don't know, in that community, these are the leading cause of death or the leading group of people that are killed in that community. And we have some super awesome people coming in. And I will say that, the two people talking about it, Mandy and Anisha, did feel that they felt uncomfortable in the beginning talking about it because neither one of them are trans women of color or queer women of color. But I thought it was important that our allies speak on it and understand that some people do understand the history from Stonewall, etc. So they're going to be talking about that. Then we'll talk about running for city office. If you really want change, if we galvanize a crew together, if we get in our communities and we pick somebody from each ward in our communities and we bum rush these elections with people that are going to represent us, that are for us, by us, then we can change a lot of the bias in the community. So we're going to have Dana Ribeiro, possibly Derek Baptiste. He did inform us that he does have a city council meeting tomorrow, but he's going to try to make it in. So they're going to share about a 15-minute segment apiece. First 15 minutes will be Derek. Last 15 minutes will be Dana, who she ran. She was an official life for a long time. She's out of politics, but she's looking to help young leaders get in a position to do so. Then we'll have the art of expression and revolution from our man Famous Fitz. If you don't know who Fitz is, he's doing a New Bedford series. Super dope, super mellow, super like zen out type individual. Everybody doesn't always like the zen types, man. I love them, man, because they teaching me a lot. You know what I'm saying? We need those people in our ranks. And he's just going to talk about how art and the expression of revolution. And then we're going to talk about the double blue line, Shakira Gonzalez, for people who know it. She does roller derby, all that incredible stuff. Super dope artist, etc. She works as a dispatcher and she works for the state. So she's going to come on and just talk about some things about the double blue line, some effective ways where we can talk about community policing, etc. Then we're going to cover the economic equality portion with E for All. Donna and my wife will be on here talking about all the unique ways you can bring a business, whether it be a pitch idea or you can sign up to be a part of their cohorts and get yourself through a 12-week program and get some high quality training and funding at the end to figure out how they can help you inspire your business. I think that right now in this climate, it has shown how important it is to be creative and how we're going about handling entrepreneurship. So they're going to be handling that, and that's super dope. And then we'll have a grant, because everybody's always asking, how do people get these grants and how do people get funding in the community? And it has seemed like a hidden gem for a long time. You have to know someone to get that information. We're trying to end that cycle because that know someone to get the information ends up being a bias that affects the people of color community and becomes a plight to that community. So we want to make sure that we have Rihanna, who's a woman of color, come on, and she's going to talk about some of the cool ways and some of the ways you can get involved in grant writing, grant funding for your organizations. Even if you're not an organization, people don't even know places like United Way. You can have an event going on and they're giving out, small grants for just to help your cause. You know what I mean? They've helped our cause out before we're doing doodles for our birthday one year. You know what I mean? So it's important to have these resources and information, especially now while people are being active and paying attention, but they might have questions on what the next step is. So that's what this whole program is about. How can we recover and be effective and use the office and the outlets and the resources that we have now to get that done? Then we'll cap it off with another section of Vote New Bedford, which is a project that's being done by Manny DeBrito and Tyson Moultrie. They'll come on and talk about the Vote New Bedford initiative. How can we get our voter turnout to be higher? The importance of voting, the importance of how it affects your community. It affects your outcome. It's not just thinking that your vote's being wasted. It's about finding somebody in your community to represent you and then giving that vote power behind that person so they can make the changes that you need in the community. But again, they'll talk more about that tomorrow. And then we're going to end off with a virtual town hall discussion open to the public, where we're going to talk about everything that's going on. I do want to preface that this platform is not about just having like minds here. So we may have some people who want to come on and feel some kind of way about the protest, which is perfectly fine. We're going to have a healthy discussion about it. I encourage you to come on. Maybe we can help you have a change of heart and understand the plight of others and find some empathy. Maybe we can't. But I think that it's important that people learn how to have this discourse in the public forum. It will be live on Facebook, as you see here. We will be live on YouTube as well. I want to shout out all the people involved. Third Eye, of course, the Dinner Club podcast, of course, the Queer Arts Council, AHA, aka VAHA at the moment, because they're doing everything virtually. Of course, E for All, and the Community Foundation as well. And there's so many other people to thank as well that wanted to be involved and that will be involved. We're going to be doing more of this. I'm honored that the Queer Arts Council reached out to me to put this together, and I'm always going to be appreciative of that. And I just feel blessed that I'm in this role. It's scary to me sometimes, to be honest, to be in this role, but I feel super blessed that I'm somebody that the community and organizations feel they can come call upon to represent our community in a good light, and my wife as well. So we're just doing what we can, how we can, wherever we can, the best that we can, and that's all we can do. You know what I mean? And we can live and die on knowing that that's always the case. So again, I appreciate everybody coming through. Mia, if you have any last words.
Yes, don't hesitate to reach out to us for anything that we talked about tonight. We are a chock full of resources. Again, we're here to help and help get you in the position that you want to be in, and provide leadership opportunities. Again, we believe strongly in being involved in your community, and we have multiple ways that you can do that. So again, do not hesitate to reach out to us if you want to start a business, start a program, have questions, want to talk about whatever, you think about getting married, thinking about having a baby, whatever. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about it all. And again, just reminding people to take advantage of the resources that are there for you. If you feel strongly about something and passionately about something, there's ways to get involved, to change it, especially with the demonstrations going on right now. They have a lot of feelings towards the police department. Most people may not know that you don't need a college degree to be a police officer. You can be a cadet at 18 years old and 24 years old, and take the civil service exam for police and fire, and you don't need a college degree to do those things. There are organizations to help you if you want to start a business. My personal experience with our local hospital, I travel 45 minutes to see my midwife because I have a fear of delivering, especially as a Black woman, at this hospital. And people have had great experiences. But in knowing that, I don't want other people to feel that way. So I applied for a scholarship to become a doula. Because I saw the need, and when I was looking for a Black doula, a Black midwife, I couldn't find one. And I have to travel, and I don't want people to feel like they have to travel outside of their community to have a family. So that was really important to me. So I found a scholarship and applied for it, and was granted a partial scholarship. So things like that you have access to. And if you don't know, just ask. Somebody knows something, somebody knows someone. And we are definitely a horse. We are here to help you. And that's the bottom line.
Absolutely. So again, I want to thank everybody real quick. I forgot one more thing. I've been doing so much. We do have the Pillars of Hip Hop going on tomorrow as well from 3 to 4:30 p.m. That's going to be before the other event. So we're going to have a long day of work tomorrow doing our virtual presentations. But this is more of a, it's hard to do music and stuff right now, but this is on key and it's on point. We got some super dope talent. My man Junior is going to start the night off with a super dope dance routine. Frederick Hallelujah is going to come do some dope music. Jamelyn sent in an incredible, touching piece. My man Lacar is a super singing sensation, is going to do his thing. And we have our artist, Jacinda, who will be in the building. Well, she'll be on virtually painting over the entire course of the entire event. Again, that's tomorrow, 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Again, live on Third Eye. All the other platforms will be live across a bunch of mediums. I want to express my gratitude for everybody who's tuned in. I want to say this. So I don't like how some of the outlets out here are representing the people. I've been offered to cross promote with some of those entities. And I did cross promote with one of them for a while until they took a stance on the line. And I feel like media has become too opinionated versus just giving the facts. So we've taken a stance on our own to just do it the grassroots way. So we need the people to help us grow as a podcast, because I cannot use these outlets that are being insensitive to what's going on in the world right now. So, we don't have the benefit of promoting from those platforms that have a lot of eyes on them, but I will not sell my integrity or my soul to just get some more eyes when we have a community that can help support us get to that platform the same way they supported them to get to their platform. And I'm just not here for that. So share, get this video out. If you enjoyed it, please share our content. It's very, very important to keep us going and to keep the process here. I thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for joining the first episode of Hers and His. And again, we'll see you tomorrow with some super dope events. Blessings. Peace.